It's 4 o'clock, so let's start. Let's get started. So I'm going to quickly share my screen. Can we see my screen? Okay, still loading. Is my screen visible? So let's get started. So this is where we stopped at. Want to write a final function that will enable our code, our database management system for students to start working effectively. So that's what we're going to be doing in this class. So what's this function going to be doing? So this function we are going to be writing is going to be able to update student info. That's what this function should do. So what do we call this function? We're going to declare this one. I'll write it by saying def update underscore student. So that's what it's gonna be the name. So it's gonna take the following arguments, self and as well what event, because it's gonna be event handling. So that is what I have to write first. So once I'm done with that, I should be able to write the function. The first thing we are gonna be doing in this function is that, first of all, we're gonna be able to update student records. That's the first thing it will do. With any change that you make. So with change made in entry. So any changes that you make in the entry, you should be able to update it. That's the essence of updating. And because this is talking to a database, I'm going to use the word, the try block. So to do this, I simply say self dot, make reference to the database connection, db underscore on dot execute. That's the normal thing we do. We use the query execution. But this time around, are we doing selecting or are we doing inserting? What are we doing? We are simply doing updates. That's the SQL statement that you use, update. And what are we updating? We're updating the students table. So when we say, what do? We simply set the values of our fname to the new thing. So what do we set fname to? You should be able to set it to what has been taken from the entry, which we simply gotten by self.fn, because we are looking at the first name, fn entry value dot get anything that is there, and let it be now the value in the record. So that's what I did there. But I'm not just getting only that. I'm not only getting the first name. What other thing am I getting? I'm also getting the what? Last name. So if I get the last name, what is going to be the content of the last name? The last name is going to have the last name, which I can also get from where? Self dot what? ln underscore what? Entry value is already there. So dot what? Get. So if I'm done with that, I'm now simply gonna say plus So where am I considering? I'm actually considering the current ID, where ID is equal to the current ID. And how do I get the current ID? I can get the current ID by simply saying self.core_student. You already know this because we declared this variable earlier, core_student. Okay. So once I'm done with this, then I'm okay. So the last thing I'm going to do is that I'm going to commit this. And to commit this change, I simply say what? self.db_con, which is the database, dot commit. I'm committing these changes that I've written out to the database. So once I'm done with this, I'm actually good to go. So because I use a try-catch block always takes the except, very, very importantly. So what error is it expecting? It's expecting the SQLite 3 error of what? Operational error, like we've always done. So if it sees this error, what do we want it to do? We simply want it to print out that what? Database couldn't be updated. So the database could not be updated for whatever reason. If the database could not be updated, we want this exception to occur so that we can see that that is the error, and we can find out what to do to take care of this error. So once we are done with this, we are okay now. So our system should be able to run. But if actually we did the right updating, after updating, we need to do what? Clear the entry box so that the entry box can take in other things. So we do what? Clear the entry box. So how do we clear the entry box? From what we'll be writing so far, we know that to clear the entry box, simply say self.what? fn entry. Dot what? Delete. That's how you clear it. And delete normally takes what? 0 and what? N. You already know that. Are we clearing only the first name entry box? No. We need to also clear the what? Last name entry box by simply using the same function, which is delete. And we knowing that delete takes two parameters, end and what? 0 and what? End. Good. So with that, we are good to go. So once we are done with this deleting, we should be able to now re-update the list box. So let the list box now be having the list of students without the one that you've updated with the current update. So you need to re-update the list box by saying list box, update the list box with what? With student list. So it's going to be updated with the student list, taking care of the changes that you've made. And to do that, very simple, we simply say self.update list box. Because we know we've written this function before, you can see it's showing self.update list box. So with this, we've come to the end of the code. So our code should now work properly. But before we can be able to connect this to the various button functions, we need to go back to those functions and put the command. Remember, we said if you want, when you click on something, want it to perform a function, there has to be a command. So where do we think we need to put command? the two buttons that should have an event trigger. Who can tell me the two buttons that should have an event trigger? Which are the two buttons? Submit and what? Update. Yeah, those are just the two. So let's quickly go to the where is the submit? Is it in the third row? Yeah, in the third row. So after submit, so where should we put that? Immediately after your submit, just simply say what? Comma, isn't it? Then you say what? Command. So what command are we giving? So let's simply use a Lambda function. Let's give it an anonymous Lambda function, but we already know that we are doing what? Self dot what? We are giving it a Lambda function, and we're saying self dot what? Self dot what should we do? What's the name of the function? Stored what? Underscore what? Submit. Isn't it what we gave it? So it's stored underscore submit. So with that, that should work perfectly. Then we also go to update bar, comma, and we'll say what? Command. So what kind of command are we giving it? Let's also use a Lambda function. So what function are we calling? Self what dot what? Update student, isn't it? So those are the two things we need. I think that should be it. So if I do Control S to save this, and I come back to my bash and run this code, come back to my bash and run this code again. Okay, there are some errors. Line 35, let's quickly go to line 35. Line 35 is saying that I say dot end instead of, I put dot instead of comma, so I simply make the correction, Control S to save again. Then I come back and rerun it. You see, the VS Code is so good. If you want to make an error, it can tell you the line. So you simply go make your correction and your code starts working. Okay, so it's coming up now. It's coming up now. So I'm going to reshare my screen in case if you're not seeing mine, so that you can see it. So can everybody see my screen now? So the application is almost done. So we're going to test it. Even when it's coming up, it might not be that your, so I'm going to close this now and I will rerun it again. Yeah, so it's coming up now. So this application, let's test it out. I'm going to say first name is Augustine and last name is Emeka. So I click submit. Okay, see when I click submit, it doesn't come down. So that means there's an error somewhere. So let's go through debugging our code. So it's, debugging a code is a special skill that you should have. So make sure that you're doing it alongside with me. So simply see what error is this saying. Exception in TK enter callback. Raise file. Return self.form tag. Student.py lambda self.submit button equal to TK submit command lambda self.submit start.submit. Okay. File line 31 in start submit. Okay. Then self.com is a good starting to student first name, last name plus values, blah blah blah. And SQ error table has no column F name. So that's the error is given. Who can help us debug that? Is anybody seeing any error? So let me check out, first of all, they mentioned line 31 and line 129. So let's check out those two. Line 31, I have self.con execute, insert into students, fname and lname. So that's under start_submit. So let's check our start_submit. That's where we are having our error. So def start_submit, second self. So we have self.db_con.execute. So we're telling it to insert into student. This is still okay. Fname. Okay, can you see my fname? Can you see my fname spelling is wrong? I put double N. I put another N there, so I'm gonna remove it. So if I save back, Control S. So let's try and rerun again. Let's rerun again, having made the correction. So I'm gonna rerun, and it's coming up now. So let me try again. If I say Augustine, then second name is what? Emeka. Then I click submit. Wow, it's working. It's now working. So second name, let me take your names. Abdul, what's your second name? Husseini. It's up. Make sure the call is not coming. I submit. Yeah, another person should give me his name. Fortune, what's your full name? Fortune Onyekwere. Okay, so you can see it's submitting. So let's try to update. So let me click on Abdul. Okay, when I click on Abdul, the information does not come up in the leaks box. That means there's an error somewhere. So we still need to go and take care of this error. So you can see it's already reading error at line 65. And it's telling us what? What is it telling us? Okay, at line 65, it's telling us I'm having unload students, line 65. So let's go check it out. Line 65, I have index equal to str lb resource selection. Telling us name lb widget is not defined. So we have lb widget here to be equal to. So this is under load students. So let's check out our load students. Let's check out our load student. So we have def load student self event equal to none. Then we have that LG. Okay, I'm using LD here and I'm using LB here. So that's where my problem is. It has to be LB, LB. So I simply change this to B. So when I save again, then I have to come back and run again. So you can see very simple errors, but they are very, very effective in making your application not to work. So I'm gonna go back here, close this one again. And then having made these changes, I'm gonna rerun. So you see that we are having the submissions are happening. So I'm simply gonna say Augustine. Then I have Emeka. I submit. Let me just have only two so that I'll test out Hussein, Abdul, and what? Hussein. So I submit again. So let me try bringing it up again. So I click on Abdul. Okay, it's working now. So I can now have Abdul Hussein. So I want to change Abdul to the correct name of Abdul. What's your full name? Abdul Alim. I'm updating this to this. So if I click update, is it working? If I click update, nothing happens. Okay. So that means update is not working. I'm not seeing any error written out. Okay, maybe I did not connect my event handler to update. I think that should be where the problem is, since it's not even doing anything. So let's get back to this. Where did we have updates? Let's get to the update. Is it all working? Okay, nice one. So some people have already finished debugging theirs. So let me look at update. Okay, here I have what? Okay, this is my update. I did not put, showing that is a function, I did not put brackets. If I put it and save again, if I save again, close up this one and rerun. Let me see whether it's gonna work this time. Okay, I'll just test it with only my own. I say Augustine, and my surname is what? Emeka. If I press enter, then I click to update it, I click on it. Then instead of having Emeka as my second name, okay, and I have EKENE, but it's already reading an error, so there should be something wrong. And tuple out of range at line 65 for load student. Okay, but it's actually changing. So I just changed to EKENE, so it's working perfectly. But I want to know where this error is coming from. So I'm gonna close this. So let's check out this error now. It says at line what? 65 in load student, index trail LB widget user +1, index tuple index out of range. So why is it giving me tuple index out of range? Let me get to line 65 first. So this is line 65. Index equal SQL load student. So let's check out this load student. We have index equal to str lb underscore widget dot core selection 0 and 1. But before then, I have lb underscore widget equal to event dot widget. So self dot current student. That's the next thing. Current underscore student equal to index. So is everybody is they all able to update Ibrahim? Table not created, you know. So go check out your error. Yeah. Yeah, no problem. Your own is not your own is that you've not even typed what I have typed on my own. So you're way far. So I want somebody that has typed exactly what I have and is having similar error. Yeah. So since most students are having other errors apart from what I'm having, so I'm gonna give us time to. I'm gonna go through your systems one by one and fix your error because I want us to just have the error I'm having. So to do that, I'm gonna simply stop this so that the memory doesn't crash. So please, for audience from Facebook Live and YouTube Live, if you've done this and you have any issue on your own, it's not even coming up or anything, let me know that in our evening class when we will be doing the inventory, which is the project for this. So by sharp 4, we'll have that. Thank you, Doc.